Look, BlackRock is going to be approved. They are going to be approved first. I still believe they're going to be approved only BlackRock. People push back on that one. But, and a couple others did say, well, there's no source. It's, likely untrue. But the reality is the reaction to that news is totally legit. I mean, in the sense of, yeah, when this is approved, there's going to be increased demand. When there's a BlackRock ETF, they're going to have to let people own it. They're going to have to let their customers buy it. So let's say it's a 0.1% allocation. That's $30 billion.
Approval of a spot Bitcoin ETF would boost regulatory acceptance, making it easier for all to own crypto and attracting more institutional investment. In the recent interview, Morgan Creek Capital CEO MarkYusko indicated $300 billion could move into Bitcoin following a spot ETF approval. After a long time, the crypto markets are completely painted green, with the bulls gaining control. Bitcoin had a bullish weekly close, surging more than 10% and marking weekly highs above $30,600. As expected, the approval of Bitcoin ETF is anticipated to unlock significant capital, thus positively influencing Bitcoin's price. Currently, BlackRock is in the race with at least 7 other applicants, including the largest Bitcoin trust fund, Grayscale. Previously, Bloomberg analysts James Seyffart and Eric Balchunas estimated a spot Bitcoin ETF's chances of approval by January 10, 2024 at 90%. A research report released by JPMorgan on Wednesday also indicated a spot Bitcoin ETF approval is likely by that same date. Yusko believes that BlackRock's approval is imminent. On October 16th, based on news that the BlackRock ETF has been approved, Bitcoin jumped briefly over $30,000. When the news had proven to be false, prices quickly retreated back down to previous levels. Clearly, the attitude and sentiment around crypto assets has shifted toward institutional players, and the almost 100% success rate BlackRock has with previous ETFs continues to provide the market with optimism. Let's hear what MarkYusko has to say about this. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe to the channel and click the bell icon for the latest updates.
Look, BlackRock is going to be approved. They are going to be approved first. I still believe they're going to be approved only BlackRock. People push back on that one. But, and a couple others did say, well, there's no source. It's, likely untrue. But the reality is the reaction to that news totally legit. I mean, in the sense of, yeah, when this is approved, there's going to be increased demand. And it's not if, it's when. So when this is approved, there's going to be increased demand, a lot of increased demand, and prices are going to rise. And yet here we are on Friday, recording this on Friday, and prices back up a little higher than where it was. So people have been saying, you know what? It's coming. And I think that's really interesting. In the 20s, in the 1920s, in the roaring 20s, stuff was not priced into equities. There was lots of manipulation. There was lots of scams. There was lots of big movements on little things. And then that changed a little bit. And then by the 70s and 80s, there were still things that weren't priced in the sense that you had message boards. I love message boards, and the whole famous thing of Michael Saylor's MicroStrategy was totally manipulated, right? From $3 to $330 back to $3, all by these message boards. I mean, he got fined, people got fined. I think some kid might have gone to jail. I can't remember. But I mean, so markets mature and media coverage matures, and the quality of analysis. Now that, and again, it's not poke at anybody in particular, but the quality of analysis in our space, if I claim to be part of the digital asset space or the crypto space, it's still working itself to a level of high quality. There are some great organizations, there's some great research organizations, but by and large, stuff gets thrown out there, like what happened on Monday, right? So you were telling me before we got going that I thought the whole thing about the intern was a joke, right? I thought they were saying, oh, it was an intern. Well, I guess it was an intern that, read something on a chat group or a chat room and posted it with no source. That's not what media does, right? Media has to have a source. And then people just fly into it and say, oh, okay, I got to buy. Well, where's the analysis of, well, what does this mean? Eric Balchunas did this, right? He actually said, okay, there's $30 trillion of assets that right now are prohibited from investing in Bitcoin, right? The firms have said, the RIA firms said, nope, can't own it. When there's a BlackRock ETF, they're going to have to let people own it. They're going to have to let their customers buy it. So let's say it's a 0.1% allocation. That's $30 billion. Well, but Mark, 30 billion on 500 billion isn't that much. Well, but 500 billion doesn't trade. It's about 100 billion that really trades, and it's even smaller than that on a daily basis. 30 billion will move the price. We saw that on Monday. But what if it's 1% allocation, which would be a prudent allocation, which people have? There are a lot of people that have 1%, 2%, 3%. Some have lots more, but a prudent allocation would be a 1% position, like a gold at 2 or 3 or 4%. So that's 300 billion. 300 billion on a $500 billion asset. And that ain't priced in. That is, I'm on the record, that is not priced in.
Confidence in SEC approval of a Bitcoin ETF is growing, reinforcing Bitcoin's quality and mainstream adoption, as evidenced by increased stablecoin flows into Bitcoin. BlackRock took the giant leap toward a spot Bitcoin ETF under the title iShares Bitcoin Trust on June 15th, paving the way for institutional capital to flood into the crypto asset. While it isn't a guarantee we will see a Bitcoin spot ETF soon, it is looking more likely, especially with the pressure of multiple financial institutions coinciding with the momentum from Grayscale investments and Ripple's successful lawsuits. BlackRock CEO observed that even though the ETF approval reports were incorrect, the market's reaction signaled significant underlying demand for crypto. In the interview with CNBC, CEO of BlackRock Larry Fink said there's more people running into a flight to quality, whether that is treasuries, gold, or crypto, depending on how you think about it. He said, I believe crypto will play that type of role as a flight to quality.
Larry Fink, right, the president of BlackRock, went on CNBC. I guess some people don't call CNBC real TV, but I think it's real TV. And in the afternoon on Monday, and basically said, rumor, not fact. We haven't been approved. We're still making. In fact, 2 days later, it was reported that they had made the comments back to the SEC, because October 17th, Tuesday, was the day on which either it had to be approved or they had to say, hey, you have to give us more, and there's another 90 days. So that clearly happened. But Larry came on TV and said, amongst other things, well, really, things are pretty tough out there and people are afraid. And so there's a flight to quality in treasuries, gold, and crypto, which Bitcoin, crypto, people get mad, but Bitcoin is a cryptocurrency. I mean, it just is. But, and they're saying, he means Bitcoin, not crypto. Whatever. Yes, his application is for Bitcoin. Maybe he's not allowed to say the word Bitcoin because he's in the app. I don't know. I don't think he really doesn't understand. He's a pretty smart guy. But it is demand for other cryptocurrencies as well. But bottom line is, Bitcoin is the safe haven. Other things are you can argue whether other things are good, bad, or indifferent, but Bitcoin is digital gold. I had this amazing experience 2 nights ago where I went down to Charlotte, and it was me, Guy Swan, a banker from Fifth Third, and my new cat loves Bitcoin too. My new cat loves Bitcoin, but and a Fed governor. So we had a governor from the Richmond Fed, who agreed to debate us on the future of money. I mean, bravo to him. I was like, wow, that is very cool. And we had a great discussion of the future of money. And the reality is that, we all kind of we probably already reached a conclusion, but I think that the body of work, especially from Guy Swan, who is really good. I mean, he's really good on the history and why sound money is so vital. That's Bitcoin. Bitcoin is better money. It just is. So that is to the point of real interest rates likely peaking. And we've seen lots of evidence of that, right? Stocks are actually down since August. And the only thing that's a little fly in that 08 minute started last week. We said that bonds had a nice rally, and then they gave most of that back this week because people got freaked out again by some of the economic numbers, which continue to come in hot.
ETF hype sends markets on a roller coaster. Bitcoin's price tested the $30,000 mark twice the week with growing anticipation of a long-awaited Bitcoin spot ETF. The SEC last week declined to appeal that ruling by a key deadline, likely paving the way for a Bitcoin-related ETF to be approved in the coming months. That concludes our conversation for today. Feel free to share your thoughts in the comment section below. If you found this content informative, please consider giving it a thumbs up and subscribing for the latest updates. Thank you for being here with us.